Hey guys, back again. This is like kind of part two, and I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more on what to look for if you are going to try to buy a fix and repair boat. First thing you need to do is you need to evaluate what your capabilities are. Um, can you do fiberglass work on your own? If you can, that opens up some options. Are you mechanically inclined? Do you know a lot about motors? Are you good with wiring? Can you learn? Are you willing to invest time to read, research, and ask around and spend some time to figure out how to make the proper repairs on a rig that's cheaply purchased that needs repairs? So those are things you need to think about before you jump into buying a fix and repair type boat. Um, some other things is you need to think about after you have the boat what your capabilities are, not only mechanically and all that, but also financially. Show you a couple things to think about, like this boat. If you notice, this trailer, it's only a 20 footer, it's not a 21. Most 21s have a dual axle trailer. So just think about this, guys. If you got a dual axle trailer, that's 4 tires you have to buy when you need to change tires, okay? So you might want to consider maybe getting a smaller boat, maybe not too much smaller, but something like this where it's light enough that you can legally use a single axle trailer. So this trailer has 2 tires. If I ever have a tire problem, I'm only buying 2 instead of 4. The other thing is it's light enough, it doesn't have brakes, it just has lights. So I don't have to worry about brake maintenance. All I have to do is make sure my lights work and then I have good wheel bearings and tires, and that the rest of this trailer is functional and good, and that's it. Very easy. So that's something that you want to consider when you're looking for a project boat. Um, this motor is carbureted. I knew it was. I knew I could, being that it was carbureted, I knew I could fix it here at home and tune it myself without a bunch of specialty tools. It had a bad cylinder. I thought critically when I purchased it, and I knew that, okay, I can rebuild a motor. I know I'm capable of that, and I know I'm willing to put in the time and work to do it. But what caused that cylinder to go out? I'm gonna have to find that once I make the repair. So that was pretty interesting. So do the quick rundown on that. Bought the boat, ripped the power head off, fixed the bad cylinder, put the power head back on, rigged everything up, took the boat to the lake, pumped, right? It's like, all right, let's go run this thing. Would not get on plane. Spent quite a bit of time. At that time I was working, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take it to a shop. It shouldn't be a big deal. They ought to be able to track down what's causing the problem. Let me just run it to a shop and let them figure it out. Took it to a Mercury dealer here locally, which if you're listening, Mercury, look, you need to talk to your people that do service. Because I went to a very renowned dealer, but because this bass boat was not one of their prize saltwater boats that they sell off the showroom floor, I feel like they didn't give me good service and want to help me. The mechanic called me and told me whoever rebuilt the motor put it together all screwed up. None of the components matched. Everything was screwed up and it just was never going to work. And that he wasn't willing to go any further with it. They charged me $300. Brought the boat home, upset. I didn't even want to argue with that because I was just like, wow, it's pretty idiotic. Brought the boat home. Within literally 10 minutes, put a timing light on it, discovered that it wasn't firing on all cylinders. Ordered all new coil packs. Then I discovered that it wasn't firing on one of the cylinders. Now this is, over the course of a few weeks of me going back and forth this boat, trying to run it, trying to figure out what's causing it. You know, 3 things you got to have: fuel, air, spark. If you're not getting one of those, the motor's not going to run. I knew it was spark, but I couldn't figure it out. Finally, I eliminated it down to one cylinder after checking the stator, the coils, all the solenoids on the motor, the electrical supply to the motor, all this stuff. Finally figured out that there was one cylinder that wasn't getting fire, and I could not find the problem with it. So I took this boat to a little shop in San Antonio called the Boat Shop. Older man owns it. His name's Wayne. And I just like to thank him for taking the time to listen to me, tell him what I did to the motor and what it needed. He graciously took on the repair for me. Within 1 week, he called me back and said, James, I haven't figured this out yet, but you're right. It's definitely not firing on that bottom cylinder, and you're right. I don't see a reason why it's not. He said, but he said, I'm going to figure it out now because this has really got me stumped. He called me back 2 days later and said, James, your boat just pushed the truck and trailer out of the test tank. He said, I think it's ready to go. You need to come pick it up. I drove up there. What had happened was, from in the factory wiring harness, there was a coil wire that was installed in the plug in the wrong order. In other words, the two wires were swapped wrong from the factory. So whoever originally bought this motor had been running it like that for years, and that's what made the cylinder go out eventually in it. So once I fixed that, this thing had power like it had never seen before. I ended up buying a prop. Somebody put this on their bay boat, 27 pitch Fury. Obviously, this prop you don't want in the bay, you want something that pops up quick. This was in a saltwater boat dealership. I paid $200 for this prop. They could not give it away because people in the bay system down here want 4 blades that pop up fast. Budget prop, man. Top of the line prop. Somebody made a mistake and bought. So there it is, man. 225 3 liters of horsepower, man. Over 70 miles an hour on this old boat. That's what you can do on a budget.